Good morning. I am Paula Gribble, Director of Lifespan Religious Education. My pronouns are she, her, and then for today, I'm also the chalice fairy. Challenged by our liberating faith at UUCC, we discover deeper spiritual meaning, nurture loving community, cultivate courageous connections, and partner in the work of justice. Welcome to all of you on the live stream or in person. We are pleased to have guests with us in this room and participating virtually. I encourage you all to reach out to the Director of Member Relations, Kelly Green, whose picture and email are on the screen. This morning's service is multi-generational, so all ages are together in the sanctuary with us for the whole time. Nursery care is available for children under 6. We have large print orders of service, personal hearing assistance devices, and an elevator available. There is also a hearing loop in our alternate worship space downstairs in the Bernstein room, and we have coloring pages and fidgets for all ages in the vestibule if that's useful to you or your children. Our only announcement this morning is that following the service, we will be gathering in the parking lot and around Playground 2 for our Halloween festival full of games and fun, and we hope that you will come down after the service.
Candy.
Oh, and candy, of course, candy. And candy. I offer you this welcome. No matter who or what you are welcome here. Let's be clear. Here we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, angels and devils, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters and police officers, nurses, doctors, cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk of all varieties. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. In fact, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all other manner of creatures. Here we welcome you and all of who you are and what you are. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. It is good to be together.
Good morning. And yet again, welcome to this time in which we gather time after time to practice what it means to be fully human together. And apparently this congregation knows how to dress for Halloween. Yes. Where are my witches at? I see you, I see you. Where's my wizard? I see you. Brethren, let's take a picture after the service together. As October winds to a close, we round out our monthly theme of thresholds. Now we've gone on a journey of exploration and insight, a journey through thresholds of imagination, of beginnings, of possibilities. And today we lift the veil of it all to reveal what we already knew, which is that thresholds never really end. And even if along the way we encounter uncertainty, obstacles, and even fear, we know that the threshold is ours to create and ours to journey together. And we are in a season of uncertainty, in the midst of natural disasters and transitions and changes for us all. And as we move into this time, which is busy for us all, we also find ourselves at a precipice of decision. With the election around the corner, fear may find its way into our lives, and in those times, we can find comfort and strength in the values that have carried us to this point. I crossed the threshold yesterday when I stepped into the polling place and became a registered North Carolina voter for the first time here in the state. And I early voted yesterday, and no matter what happens in 2 weeks, I know that I have lived into the dream and the work of my ancestors who fought and who died for my right to step into that polling place yesterday. And what a joy it was to be at the polls and see one of our very own, Ken Smalley, who was volunteering his time as a poll worker, who walked me to the machine, who showed me how the machine worked, and who walked me to cast my ballot. That was so incredibly special for me. If you are a poll worker, if you are a canvasser, if you have worked on You the Vote or any similar campaign, if you know a thing or two about getting registered and voting here in Mecklenburg County, and you can be of assistance to others, please make yourselves known in this moment. That's right. That's right. Look at this congregation. If you haven't, make a plan to vote. Check in with others in your life to make sure that they have support in voting. If you're unsure of something or you need support, check in with one of the people who raised their hands. We are in this together. And so, we light our chalice this morning with gratitude for all of those who are working to protect our democracy and our voting rights right here in our community and right here in this congregation. Come, let us worship together. And in the spirit of community, I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit and turn and greet your neighbor.
seated. So I have a story I like to tell at this time of year about meeting something strange. And it was written by a doctor, so you know it was true. This is What Was I Scared Of by Dr. Seuss. Well, I was walking in the night, and I saw nothing scary, for I've never really been afraid of anything, not very. I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. A pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved, those empty pants. They kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that, I do not care for, no, sir. After that, a week went by, and then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there to get some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach, and I was starting back through town when those pants raced around the corner and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride on, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on the Ruhr River. When those pants came rowing toward me, I started to shiver. And by now, I was so frightened that I tell you that I hate to. I screamed and rode away and lost my hook and line and bait tube. I ran and found a brickle bush and I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night. The next night, too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand, so the next night I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. And then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place, these spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help. I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried. Oh, please save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then, a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I'd never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that it was just as strange, I was just as strange to them as they were to me. So, I put my arm around their waist, and I sat right down beside them. I calmed them down, poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now, we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We just smile, and we say, hi. It can be scary to meet strangers, especially if they don't look like us. But often, the other person thinks it's scary, too. Excuse me. And sometimes, like Halloween, we pretty much all mostly look strange. I think I'll try to be brave next time I meet someone new, so I can be not scary to them. I hope you do this, too. It is time for our children to sing. You will come forward.
Let's talk, you and I. Let's talk about fear. The house is empty as I write this. A cold rain is falling outside. It's night. Sometimes when the wind blows the way it's blowing now, we lose power, but for now it's on. So let's talk very honestly about fear. We won't raise our voices and we won't scream. We'll talk rationally, you and I. We'll talk about the way the good fabric of things sometimes has a way of unraveling with shocking suddenness. At night, when I go to bed, I still like to be sure that my legs are under the blankets after the lights go out. I'm not a child anymore, but I don't like to sleep with one leg sticking out, because if a cool hand ever reached out from under the bed and grasped my ankle, I might scream. Yes, I might scream to wake the dead. That sort of thing doesn't happen, of course. We all know that. That thing under my bed waiting to grab my ankle isn't real. I know that. And I also know that if I'm careful to keep my foot under the covers, it will never be able to grab my ankle. Fear is the emotion that makes a stealthy ruin of the thinking process. How many things are we afraid of? We're afraid to turn off the lights. We're afraid to stick a knife into the toaster to get that stuck English muffin without unplugging it first. We're afraid of what the doctor may tell us when the exam is over, when the airplane suddenly takes a great unearthly lurch in midair. We're afraid the oil may run out, that the good air will run out, the good water, the good life. When the daughter who promised to be in by 11 and it's now 12:15 and sleet is spatting against the window like dry sand, we sit and pretend to watch TV and look occasionally at the mute phone and we feel it. That emotion which overcomes all order and reason and leaves us grasping to touch the source of all we do not know.
Spooky ending, I liked it. So Halloween is a fun day, right? But did you know that its origins are actually religious? In the Celtic tradition, Halloween was called Samhain. They celebrated their new year on November 1st, and this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter. On this night, Celts believed that the space between the world of the living and the world of spirit, sometimes called the veil, was small, and the ghosts could return to Earth. People would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off the ghosts. There are also many traditions that mark this time by celebrating loved ones who have passed and one's ancestors, including early Christians and ancient Romans. And now some Christians celebrate All Saints' Day or All Souls' Day, and people in Mexico celebrate the Day of the Dead. Just this morning, our shared prayer this morning was a Samhain ritual for those who have passed. This time, when the space between worlds is small, we can lift that veil if we choose. We can honor those who have recently passed, but we can also think back further to all the people who came before us. In Samhain and some of these other traditions, there is a belief that those who come before us set the path or cleared the way for us to be where and who we are now. And while the idea of spirits walking the earth might be scary, when we think of it as lifting the veil to see who came before us, we might just end up feeling loved and supported instead of being full of fear. If UU's had some way of celebrating this time as more of a faith-based thing, I think this might be the case. I wonder what other ways we would honor the thinning of the veil, the lifting of the veil. We might think about the strong UUs who came before us and connect to our history. Or we might think about remembering those who passed and how we still feel their presence. I think that would be cool. Now, don't get me wrong. It's also great that today our Halloween is much more about fun and pumpkin carving and trick-or-treating and candy. Let me not forget candy. I guess I just think there's a place for all of these celebrations. I hope however you celebrate brings you joy. And to hopefully help that along, I, like I sometimes do, will offer you a few moments of silliness. So, how do you make a skeleton laugh? You tickle its funny bone. It's okay, groaning is allowed. What's a mummy's favorite music? Rap music. Okay, these last two are my favorites. What do you call a haunted chicken?
What?
A poultrygeist. What do you call some witches who live together? Brewmates.
We are indeed a community woven together by our common principles, our core values, and our shared covenant. And we embody each of these things through the practice of generosity, which is embedded in the promise and the practice of our shared faith. During this time of giving, feel free to do what is right for you. If you're new or feeling new, it's okay to let the basket fly right on by. You can give online at our website at any time, or you can text to give right now from your phone or device. That number for text to give is 73256. Here, we don't give until it hurts, but until it feels right. We give so that we may continue to build and sustain this community now and for many ages to come. While the offering is collected, you're invited to come forward and light a candle honoring a milestone, concern, or celebration in your life. The work of this congregation is indeed sustained through the generosity of members and friends. As the music plays, please give as you are so moved.
move a little. Because sometimes talking in words aren't enough and singing about it isn't enough. Sometimes we fancy moving and feeling about it, so that's what we're going to do now, a body and heart moment. Today, for our body and heart moment, music will play and I will lead us off in a costume parade. All those who wish to participate may join me as we stroll around the sanctuary, being very careful of the candle. And if you're staying in your seat, you're welcome to rise in body or spirit and let the music move you. Let us enjoy all the costumes. We hope you were getting a good look at all of the costumes, as there may or may not be an opportunity to vote for your favorite.
Each week when we gather, we come with a host of joys and concerns in our hearts and on our minds. We do not exist in a vacuum. We do not live on a mountaintop, and we surely do not do it alone. When we gather in this space, we need not leave our burdens behind or cast our worries aside. Rather, we make space for the fullness of who we are, and we learn how to sit with the mystery and the wonder of it all. We begin with gratitude. Gratitude for the little things in life. In this season of costumes and candy, we're reminded that a little bit of fun never hurt anyone. Levity goes a long ways these days. Gratitude for the young ones that are our teachers in these times, that remind us to be in this moment right now. What a gift and a blessing that is. We're grateful for the community's support and love for Western North Carolina and all the neighboring areas that have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. As the rebuilding process continues, we send our support through donations, thoughts, caring words. Let's continue to show up for our neighbors, knowing that we are all connected. If you don't know where there are drop-off locations for people who still need supplies, please check out Currents for a full list. By this time next month, we'll have more answers than we do right now about the outcome of November 5th. But at this time, we sit with the waiting and the anticipation. We hold in our hearts all the impacted communities whose lives are always at risk, no matter who is in the White House. We hold in our hearts all of those who are working tirelessly, giving of their time, their energy, their money to protect voters' rights and the democratic process. We lift up our deepest values of truth-seeking and meaning-making, knowing that sometimes all we can do is show up and keep showing up. So please now, won't you join me in a moment of silence as we honor all the concerns shared today and those that remain in our hearts. And now invite you into a time of contemplation, of stillness, of rootedness, of meditation, and of prayer. Perhaps closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, finding the stillness in your body. Great Spirit, Spirit of life. Spirit of connection, of becoming, of discovering, of belonging. Spirit that draws us together even in our times of deepest sorrow, and which helps us celebrate in our times of joy. Spirit of life that weaves through all of our days and our months and our years. We call the Spirit into this place today. We lift our hearts in gratitude for the opportunity to gather together once more. The freedom to come together, to worship in this place, to be with one another, to have fun and to enjoy this time. We know that's a freedom not granted to all in our world. We know that there are so many who are suffering from isolation, who are in war-torn areas, who are dealing with illness, disconnection, who aren't quite able to be a part of the communities that their heart longs for. We lift our hearts to all who sit in waiting. May we be that beacon of connection for those in our lives. May we always extend a hand when a hand is needed, and may we always show up when we are needed, knowing that we are the ones we've been waiting for, and the time is now. Spirit of life, please guide us as we move into this week and into this month, as we round out this year, as we continue exploring and growing and learning. May that spirit of presence remain with us each and every day. May it always be so. Amen, and blessed be. Now won't you rise in body or spirit and join me in the closing song. You might see that the lyrics are just a little different.
like to close with these words, the quote from the beginning of the service. Halloween is a day when we get it right. Strangers come to us, beautiful, ugly, odd, or scary, and we accept them without question, treat them kindly, and give them good things. Why don't we live like that? Well, guess what, folks? The fun does not end with our service today. After the closing music, everyone is invited to first grab coffee and a break, and then all ages are welcome to join us in the parking lot for fun and games and trick-or-treating, trunk-or-treating, and candy. I am betting some of our smaller ghouls and goblins will be ready to head out immediately, but it would be helpful if you would give us just a few minutes so that we can all get downstairs and get set up. Please join me in reading the words on the screen for our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be seated for the closing music.